It's mid-February. We're out here in our little greenhouse, hoop house, whatever you want to call it. We didn't really grow anything in here last year. We had some plants in here on tables for our plant sale. But we're just out here getting this going, just growing some stuff for ourselves. We used to do some production gardening in here, but we're throwing some compost down. We're gonna get some spinach going here.
This is our smaller greenhouse, our little hoop house that we have used for a few different things over the years. We have used it for our plant sale and starting seeds. We've put spinach in here. And then most recently, we've used it for our CSA program. And this was all cucumbers the last year. So now that we this year are not doing CSA anymore, we are kind of taking it back to just like a family garden, which I'm super excited about. So now I'm super excited to have like random stuff in here. You can see these two beds right here. We just planted a couple weeks ago. When it was real warm out, we put a mix of things in here. So we've got, I think back here is mostly spinach. And then we have up here, we kind of just like mixed in arugula, radish, and beets in that bed. And then in here in the front, we put a little bit of lettuce, and then all of this back here is going to be carrots, which we have not started yet. We need to do that really soon. But we so far just spent time using the broad fork to loosen the soil and adding compost so that the soil is nice and loose for carrots. And we're right now just trying to keep it watered and moist because carrots are really picky and they need that to germinate. But I'm super excited to just take back the space. My kids have been playing in here. And I just have lots of like dreams and ideas for this space. I want to put like flowers around the border. I want to fill it with herbs. I want to put like pots of things. Like I have a couple pots here. I want to put pots of things in here. I want to add like a bench or maybe 2 chairs in here to sit, because the sides do roll up, so it gets hot in the summer, but like in the mornings and the evenings we could definitely sit in here. So I'm really excited to just turn this back into a fun, like passionate thing, family garden type of thing, and just see what we can grow. One of the most common questions that we get often is where we get our compost from. And a few years ago, we actually reached out to our city and asked if they would drop leaves at our farm because we knew that they needed to get rid of them and we knew that we could turn them over into nice compost. So what you see here that's already broken down into beautiful dirt is actually from piles of leaves that were dropped off 3, maybe 4 at the most years ago that we would just turn with our tractor and let decompose over 2 years. So that's always an option. You can talk to your city, you can talk to local landscape companies, or just people who pick up leaves and see what they are going to do with them and see if they can bring a truckload or 2 to your farm. So all we're doing here, you can see, is just making a few beds, a few rows. We like to do ours about 30 inches wide, and then we leave a pathway and then do another bed of 30 inches. So that's what we're doing right now, and then we're just going to plant rows of different crops in here. So before we start any seeds, we like to water the ground really well. So you can see here, we like to involve our kids and give them simple tasks like this one, both watering and weeding. So right now we're just kind of clearing out the edges of this grass and making sure the soil is nice and moist before we put any seeds in.
We're using a Jeng JP1 seeder, I believe. It's a single row seeder. You can get different wheels for it, for whatever size seed you're using. It's pretty adjustable. Works pretty good, and you can adjust the planting depth too on the actual planter. Let's check in Make sure that it's dropping the seed pretty evenly. Skipping quite a few, but you have to adjust it a little bit. That's better.
So like Chris said, we are using the Jeng cedar, and I'll put a link to that in the description down below. But this thing is really nice for making straight, even rows and just direct seeding. A lot of crops that have really small seeds. So you can see here, we're just doing small chunks of crops. We're not doing the entire bed, entire rows of everything. We just don't need that much of each crop. So we're doing a little section of beets, a little section of arugula, and spinach, and a little section of radish. So you can see how easy and fast it is using this seeder just to drop the seeds in. And then all you do is change out the seed that you want in that plastic compartment on the top. And it's just really nice because it digs the hole, plants the seed, and covers it all for you in one shot. Came out to check the greenhouse and check on our plants and water them, and I was super excited to see that some of our, well, most of our arugula has sprouted. So that's exciting.